Hello friends, myself Purvi Sankhe. I'll be taking session on version control in DevOps. We know DevOps is the concept where the developers team and the operations teams works on the same platform, thereby allowing the faster and reliable delivery of the software product. Okay, so we'll see version control in detail in this session. So what is version control? Is a system that records changes to a file or set of files over the time so that specific versions can be recalled later on whenever required. It's especially important in software development for managing the source code. It enables continuous integration, automated testing, collaborative development, and faster deployments by maintaining a single source of truth. In this diagram, we can see repository has been shown, that is the storage location like a shared folder on a server where the most up-to-date versions of your project is kept. We have working copies, that is a local copy of the project that a developer uses on their own computer. We call it as a workstation. We have two updates over here, that is one is commit and other is update. Commit saves your changes to the central repository, whereas update gets the latest changes from the repository to your local copy. So we can say in this diagram, here this diagram shows you that each developer works on their own working copy on their own computer, that is workstation 1, 2 and 3. Then when developer makes the changes, they uses commit to send those changes to the central repository. When another developer wants the latest updates, they update their working copy from the repository. So we can see here, this way all the developers can work at the same time over here. They can share their changes with each other and they can always stay in sync over here. So this is how version control works. So it's a system tool that helps tracking the changes to source code or files over the time. It enables multiple people to collaborate on a project, revert to the earlier versions, thereby restoring the original versions, and identify who has made the specific changes. Then this is the way to make changes to files without disturbing something that will get lost or things which will fall out of the flow. It helps to manage the changes done during the development process in the complete project. It also offers backup and history of any changes for any files line by line. Where the one of the standard example of version control, we can take it over here, is a Google Docs where multiple users can edit a document, they can track the changes, they can see the revision history and can also restore the older versions. So version control in software works similarly but with a more power and flexibility over here. So how do we version control them? Earlier version control used to happen manually in the absence of tools, where the team used to save a physical copy of the backup and then make the changes. Now these days lot of sophisticated tools are available in the market which helps us to automatically takes care of a version controlling by managing the check-in and check-outs by multiple people simultaneously on the same file or set of files. It enables the team to view the difference between versions very easily and also helps to debug the causes of failure very fast. We have two ways of version control. One is centralized version control and other is distributed version control. So centralized CVCS, it's a single central, in this a single central server contains all the versions of a files. Developer gets the latest version, commit directly to the server. For example, the office documents which are stored on a shared network drive, if the server goes down, nobody can have access to this because the things are saved only onto the central server. The tools which are used for this CVCS are Subversion and the Perforce. It is the distributed version control system. In this, every developer has a local copy of the entire repository. The changes can be committed locally and then that can be pushed to a shared repository. So here every team member has a copy of the document and they can work offline, do the changes and they can sync the changes whenever the server is available. The tools which are used for this DVCS is the Git and Mercurial. Here one diagram is shown for the distributed VCS. Here we can see in this diagram, this is for better understanding. We have three users over here, Sue, Joe and Eve. Here we can see Sue starts with her own copy and adds a soup to the main repository which already have a milk. Okay. Then Sue shares her changes of soup with the main repository. Joe pulls the Sue's changes from the main repository and now add its own juice to that repository. Now Joe pushes these changes back to the main repository, and so now we can say main has a soup. Earlier it has a milk. Now the soup has been added, juice has been added, and eggs has been added over here. So Eve fetches from the main repository and gets the juice and the eggs. So now Sue can have the now fetch the Joe's updates and complete the full cycle. So here we can see how distributedly the work has been done by the three different users, and the same has been updated to the main repository. Okay. So this is how DVCS works. So benefits of using version control are it provides a complete history of every file made by the individual over the years. It protects the source code from any accidental changes, human mistakes, and the unintended circumstances. It also helps in branching and merging, helps to understand the difference between various versions and also the purpose of making the changes to the file. It's beneficial in case of large distributed teams, and it ensures developers and operations teams are in there in the source control. So here we have a different tools used for the version control. One of the tool is a Git, which is a free open source distributed VCS. It's a fast, reliable, and flexible, and used by the maximum number of users for version control. It supports branching, merging, reverting, history tracking, and collaboration. So Git is used by Google nowadays, Microsoft, Netflix, and Facebook, etc. Microsoft have even migrated the entire Windows code base more than the 3.5 million files to the Git with the help of tool called as GVFS. Similar as a tool that is a GitHub, which works in an online service way. It helps developers to share code, collaborate, and manage the Git projects. So it stores the Git repositories in the cloud, whereas the Git stores it locally. So these are the points of differences given with respect to the features mentioned in the first column. GitLab. GitLab is an open source tool that written into Ruby and Golang. It comes with the features for the integrated projects. So project websites and all can be developed using GitLab. It's a repository management tool which is hosted on the free hosting service gitlab.com. Another that is a Bitbucket. So Bitbucket has been a part of Atlassian software suite. So they have their own Atlassian features embedded in this Bitbucket tool. Perforce is one of the tool which is also called as a Helix core, and it handles very large code bases, and it manages binary assets like videos, graphics, and CAD files. Version control in DevOps. Thank you, friends.